I want to talk about complacency because I think sometimes we only think about complacency when someone becomes lazy, careless, or too comfortable. But complacency can be quiet. It can show up after you finally did the thing, after you finally posted, recorded, used your voice, after you finally said, "This is what I'm doing." And then, because you did it once, you start feeling like maybe that was enough. But I don't think finding your voice is the finish line. Finding your voice is the beginning of a new responsibility. I'm Fabiola, and this is Waiting is at Working. This is not a motivational podcast. This is a conversation about becoming. And today I want to talk about not giving in once you've found your voice. Because it took too much to get here. For some of us, it took years. Years of thinking about it. Years of saying, "I'll do it later." Years of convincing ourselves we needed more time, more confidence, more clarity, or more research. And then one day we started. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe it wasn't polished. Maybe we didn't feel completely ready, but we started. And that matters. But here's the part I'm learning. Starting is one thing, continuing is another. Because after you start, life does not stop testing you. Oh, fear. Fear does not suddenly disappear. Doubt does not suddenly pack its bags. Neither does distraction. Distraction does not stop showing up. And sometimes the biggest threat is not fear anymore. Sometimes the biggest threat is comfort. Comfort says you already proved you could do it. Comfort says take a little break. Comfort says you don't have to be consistent. And to be clear, rest is important. I believe in rest. I believe in stepping back when you need to breathe. But rest and disappearing are not the same thing. That's the difference I want to make clear. Rest helps you return. Complacency makes you stop returning. Rest gives you strength. Complacency makes you forget why you started. And I think we have to be honest about that, because once you finally find your voice, you cannot act like you don't know what it sounds like anymore. Oh, you know. You know what it feels like to say the thing. You know what it feels like to be honest. You know what it feels like to stop hiding. You know what it feels like to create something that could not exist if you kept waiting. So now the question becomes, what are you going to do with the voice you found? Are you going to keep using it? Are you going to protect it? Or you're going to let it grow? Or are you going to let comfort talk you back into silence? And I'm asking myself the same question because season one was me finding my voice. It was me finally taking something that had been sitting in my notes app, in my mind, in my private world, and allowing it to become real. It was me saying, I'm going to record anyway, even if only two people listened, even if I didn't have a perfect setup, even if I didn't have everything figured out, even if I was still afraid. Season 1 taught me something. It taught me that my voice was not waiting for perfect condition. It was waiting for my participation. And now, as I pause before returning on July 10th, here's what I want you to know. This pause is not disappearance. This pause is not me stepping away from the work. This pause is not me losing momentum. It is me refusing to return casually. Because once you find your voice, you have to be careful with it. You cannot treat it like something you only use when you feel inspired. You cannot only show up when the moment is exciting. At some point, the thing you started becomes a responsibility. And that is where season 2 begins. Season 1 was about finding the voice. Season 2 is about what happened after you find it. What happens when the excitement settles? What happens when fear comes back? Oh, it does come back, or at least try to come back. What happens when comfort starts sounding reasonable? What happens when you have to decide whether this was a moment or a commitment? That is what I want to talk about next. Because finding your voice is powerful, but not giving it back to fear, delay, comfort, or complacency, that is the work. It is easy to celebrate the breakthrough. It is harder to build a habit after the breakthrough. It is easy to say, I finally started. It is much harder to say, now I have to keep showing up. Not perfectly, not every second, not in a way that burns you out, but consistently enough that your life can trust you. The question is, can your life trust you? Can your voice trust you? Can the very thing you started trust that you want? Abandon it the moment you realize that it becomes ordinary. Because that is where complacency sneaks in. Not always when things are hard. Sometimes when things start working, when people start listening, when you start getting comfortable, when the pressure of beginning is gone. And now you have to choose discipline, not because you are scared, but because you care. That is a very different kind of commitment. At first, you move because you're trying to prove you can. Later, you keep moving because you know this matters. That's the part I don't want to forget. I don't want to finally find my voice and then Treat it like a phase. I don't want to finally start and then become casual about the very thing I once prayed for the courage to begin. I don't want to build something and then neglect it because the first hard part is over. Because the first hard part is not the only hard part. There is the hard part of beginning, then there is the hard part of continuing. And continuing requires a different version of you. Beginning may require courage. Continuing requires commitment. And maybe that is where some of us get stuck. We think the breakthrough is enough. We think the first step is enough. We think the fact that we finally did it means we are safe from going back. But we are not. Old patterns know how to return. Silence knows how to return. Fear knows how to return. And sometimes it returns sounding very reasonable. It says you're tired. You're done enough. Nobody will notice. You can wait. But waiting is how many of us lost years. We've been there before. So I want to be careful with anything that keeps inviting me back into delay. Because I know what delay cost me. I know what silence cost me. I know what overthinking cost me. I know what it feels like to have something sitting in your notes app for years because you keep telling yourself you're not ready. And once you know that cost, you have to be careful not to pay it again. So let this be a reminder to myself and maybe to you too. Do not give in once you have found your voice. Do not give in to comfort. Do not give in to the old version of you that only knew how to wait. Keep going. Keep creating. Keep speaking. Keep showing up. Keep leaving evidence. Not because you have something to prove to everybody, but because you have something to keep building within yourself. And maybe this the simplest way I can say it. If you fought to find your voice, don't become careless with it. Use it. Strengthen it. Let it grow. Let it become familiar. Let it become part of your life. Let it become part of how you live. Because finding your voice is powerful, but keeping it is where the work begins. So as I prepare to return on July 10th, I am not coming back just to keep posting. Season 2 is not about moving faster. It is about participating deeper. It is about the gap between knowing and doing, the quiet decision, the fear that returns after the breakthrough, the cost of staying hidden, the danger of becoming comfortable after you finally begin. Because waiting isn't working, and neither is finding your voice. I'll see you on July 10th. And until then, keep participating in your own life. I'll talk to you soon.